are entering E&C's Pod of Awesomeness.
Anytime, Jay. Nope, not going to happen again, huh? This is now the thing. You refuse to speak until I speak.
Well, I think we've pretty much established this, and we've already talked about it as well, that, you're just going to jump in and,
I don't want to jump in. I want you to take the bull by the horns, man. Take the big show by the testicles. Like, just grab hold and go.
We're going to start over right now.
How you doing today, people? It's Christian here for the Edging Christian's Pod of Awesomeness, E&C's Pod of Awesomeness to be exact. And welcome to the show. Edge, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Why are you talking like you have something shoved up your ass?
What do you mean?
Or in your dick hole? Like, yeah. What just happened there?
I don't know. I was trying to change it up a little bit. Throw people for a loop.
Well,
it's kind of like an old-timey wrestling announcer voice, I guess.
Yeah, here we are, Christian. We're in Comiskey Park, and it's Pat O'Connor versus Buddy Rogers.
We're in for one heck of a contest tonight.
Ooh, I actually like that one. That one was pretty good. It was way better than your first one. Your first
one
sucked. Yeah.
I didn't know what the first one was. I didn't commit fully. So
yeah, see, and we've talked about that. We've talked about that with my Dusty Rhodes, baby. you gotta commit, right?
Yeah.
That was
you've been
pretty
working
good
on this Dusty, obviously. The Dusty
like
impression.
That? Yeah. Well, Hey, you know what? 2 years ago now, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, we haven't had him, and man, still, it's always gonna suck.
Yeah.
But all you can do is celebrate everything that he gave us.
Well, here's the thing too, about Dusty.
Gosh,
right?
I miss Dusty.
Yeah, because I mean, like, Dusty was a legit, superstar, right? And it's funny when you grow up as a big fan of somebody, and we've talked about this before as well, that when you meet somebody and they're not what you hope to be, sometimes it's a letdown. But when a superstar like him, a guy you grew up idolizing, and then he becomes your friend, and you just love the guy because he's so great, he's so genuine, and he's just like a real person, even though he's a superstar. And that's what Dusty was. And I appreciated him even more when I became friends with him, just how great of a person he was. And I always laughed with him. Every time we were together, we always laughed. And I remember he and I sitting beside each other at the Hall of Fame during the Mr. T's famous speech, and we could not stop laughing. And it was like we were making the other one laugh harder, and like a couple times, like, the camera came over and we were like trying not to laugh, but one guy would laugh. And then after that day, and we just had so much fun, and he put his arm around me after that, and it's like, baby, we have to sit at Hall of Fame together every year. That was the coolest thing.
He'd always tell me, he goes, we're rarefied air. We're both champs. We're both world champ. So every time he saw me, it was, hey, champ. And I'd always say, hey, champ. Just how cool to be able to feel like you're in that club with Dusty Rhodes, and he gives you the tip of the cap.
Yeah.
That big old, baggy cap he used to wear in the 70s.
Yeah.
And some of his, man, he would crack me up.
He was just
he goes, that's like a bull pissing on a flat rock. I went, what? It's a what? And a huh?
Yeah.
And I have never forgot it. I don't know what it means still. But
he was.
I think it just means everything.
He was an artist with his words, that's for sure. And same thing. It's never going to get easy, but you always smile whenever you think about him. And he was.
Well, yeah, that's just it, right? And like even right now, I'm smiling as we're talking about it. Bull pissing on a flat rock. There's a hashtag for our show this week, I think.
Yeah. Throw it up there.
Yeah. So big dust. So how about them Pens, huh?
Well, we're going hockey talk already, huh?
Well, it seems. I mean, I could spend the whole pod talking about Dusty.
Yeah.
And maybe we should do that sometime.
I think we should. That would be a good idea.
You know what it'd be? Oh, I just had an idea. I'm not going to spill the beans on the pod because somebody will take it.
Yep. You know what? I just had an idea too.
I bet you it is, because we're both stupid, but sometimes we get good ideas.
Yeah, I'm going to send you a text after this, and we'll see.
Send me a text right now.
I don't want to.
No, I'm sending you a text right now as we speak. Watch
Okay,
this.
send it to me.
Mega Matt's in on it too. It's a thread. Okay.
All right,
Here we
send it.
go.
I'm waiting for it.
And bam,
I haven't got it
bam,
yet.
bam, sent. Mega Matt, it's coming to you too.
Oh, did you hear that? My phone just buzzed. Somebody
yeah.
text me. Hold on. I don't know who it is. Oh, it's from you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's
Bam. Whoa.
it's $1 million idea.
That was my idea.
That was my idea. We
Matt,
just
pretend you got that
everyone
from me.
just heard that it was my idea. This isn't off air. Are we on air? Whatever. It was my idea.
I think it was both our
Holy-
idea, because I was thinking the same thing.
You probably were, but you didn't text it to me. So now that it's out in the
It's
ether,
official.
Yep. Oh, speaking of which, before we get to the pens,
Yeah.
full disclosure again. This is your get today.
It is my gut.
It is your get. You're tapping into your TNA resources.
He's a friend.
Bubby.
Your TNA relationships.
Bubby.
Bobby, Bobby,
Bubby.
Roode. Bobby Roode, NXT
Glorious.
Champion.
Glorious.
Yeah. We'll have a nice chat with Bobby.
Yeah, we will.
Bubby.
And, this is a nice little segue here. Watch what I'm going to do now, Birdman. I'm going to blow your little brains. So, the Nashville Predators use Glorious
I know.
and play it in the Bridgestone Arena. So during the Stanley Cup Finals, and they're not the only team, a lot of teams have been, the Bruins, etc. But the Preds have been playing Glorious during the game. And that's our nice little segue tie-in to Bobby Roode later on. How about that?
Look at that. Look at
Yep.
that. Speaking of that, I guess we should get back to this hockey talk. Get it done so
should.
people don't have to hear us ramble about it anymore till basically the fall.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. My pick, not that I wanted them to be my pick, because as we know, I'm not a Pens fan, not a Flyers fan, never will be. I'm sorry, all you Flyer and Pens fans. It's not going to happen ever.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I sent out a tweet after, and I said, the refs just ruined what was an amazing finals for me. I'm done with hockey until
For
at least
you.
October.
Yeah.
So, and the joke was that I'm done with hockey until at least October, which is when the season starts. That was the
Yes.
joke. But some people took it to literally like, what are you talking about? Like, what about this play and saying the refs cheated? It's like, first of all, I didn't say they cheated. Yeah, I just said it was a bad call. And it was an amazing series. It didn't ruin the series. It was, you don't win or lose a Stanley Cup on one play, I don't think. There was, 5 other games before that. So
Buffalo and Dallas, I think
Yeah.
the Sabres might beg to differ. But
right,
that's,
but I mean,
we're talking game
you
7.
have to still have to lose 3 games to put yourself in that position. So it was a tough call. Yes, it was. When I'm looking at it now, I'm thinking that if they call video replays on things like offside, where a person's foot may or may not be on their toe might be off the ice by a quarter inch, and they put it under a microscope and look at it and take a half hour to make a decision on a play like that, you should be able to review it and reverse it, I think.
So says the bird.
Yep. It's gospel.
The gospel of the bird.
Yeah.
That feels like a segment for this show.
Yep. It's the gospel.
Now, sure. I swear I didn't smoke anything before this show, because I'm not a smoking guy. Did you? Because it certainly seems like no. You're not a smoking guy either.
It
So
must be hanging out in the prairies. Maybe the dust in the wind
fresh
has got
air.
me. Yeah.
the dust in the wind.
Yeah.
It's like dust in the. I don't know that Kansas song. Oh.
Dust in the wind. All we are,
We are is dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the wind.
All we are is dust.
All we are is dust in the wind. Oh, holy shit, that's bad.
Yeah.
How does that keep happening, by the way?
Maybe we should do a podcast just of cover songs. People
Think
just
so?
listen to us sing covers for like 45 minutes to an hour.
Well, Mega Matt threw the question out. They want to hear some covers, and we got some good ones, but Kansas, Dust in the Wind was not in there. So, although it
Going off
should have
script.
been, obviously.
Yeah.
Someone
Script.
wanted to hear Chop Suey by System of a Down, so if you guys have that in your arsenal.
I didn't know the words. I just know the kind of beats.
It's a pretty good job.
Yeah, that's about all I got there. I haven't heard that in a while, actually. I might have to crank that bad boy out the next time I go running.
Could do an episode on best wrestling theme songs.
Yeah.
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 And just
Yeah,
sing
well,
the whole episode.
We already did Jeff Jarrett's, but that was one that we've gone to from that point. Like, we always sang that song. I don't know why. Well, we were talking hockey. How did we get into, Dust in the Wind, fresh air. I thought you were high. You're not, because you don't smoke up. It was the fresh prairie air, but there's dust in it apparently. Yeah. So that somehow makes you energized.
Crazy, man. It makes me crazy.
Yeah. Ooh, try and recap this podcast.
It was even the game was exciting, right? But as soon as that goal didn't count for the Predators, you kind of had a feeling it was going to go the other way. That's the hockey gods, right? And so
they were laughing. They were pissing on those golden uniforms of the Predators, giving them a golden shower. Yeah. Conn Smythe. I don't think it goes to Sid.
I don't think so either.
I think Malkin.
I think Malkin as well. I think that, and I think there could have been an argument for Fleury if he had stayed in through the series beforehand, because he kind of got him to that point. But I think for sure that it should have been Malkin.
And to be perfectly honest, who was it? Was Crosby last year too, right?
I just thought of a great name for a fantasy hockey team if you have Malkin on your team. Malkin in the middle.
Sammy is going to be listening to this and shooting himself in the face when he hears that, because that's actually that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Would you like to go through some of your? One thing I will give you, Birdman, is you pick awesome fantasy hockey team names.
Yes, I do.
Moves like Yager.
Moves like Yager, was one. I had How I Met Your Mother. What was spelled Howe, Howe, like Gordie Howe.
Like Gordie Howe, yeah.
Very
well.
And I had
Marty
a picture of him
and Mark.
And my symbol was a picture of him winking, so it was pretty cool.
Okay.
I had Patrick Swayze, and
that's
it was
awesome.
A picture of Patrick Swayze in the Youngblood movie with his helmet and his Mustang's jersey on.
For non-hockey fans, a hat trick is 3 goals by one player in one game.
Yeah. And Swayze, put together Patrick Swayze.
Yep.
And then one year I had the Fantasy Islanders.
That's good too.
If you think of
the
old show, Fantasy Island, Fantasy Islanders is a team. So I'm pretty good at it.
Malkin in the middle is pretty good though.
I also had Gump Worsley's Ghost one year.
That's a good one too.
Yeah,
we like Gump Worsley.
Yeah,
in
that was our bear on the Edge and Christian show. Yeah,
the pink bear.
Yeah,
gotta find that bear. So what the hell were we talking? Oh yeah, so I think it's Malkin. And I also think, if memory serves, Crosby won it last year too.
Yeah, he did.
And it should have been Kessel.
Yeah, Kessel should have won it last year for sure.
Should have been Kessel.
It's favoritism, right? Sid the Kid.
He's great. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he's a leader. He's 2 Olympic golds, a World Cup, and now 3 Stanley Cups. The kid knows how to win. Don't get me wrong.
He's the best player in the league for this year, maybe a portion of next year until Connor McDavid passes him.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And who's hot on his heels?
Austin Matthews.
There you go.
Yeah.
So the Pens win. That was my pick, begrudgingly, which
good
basically means I'm really smart.
No, it was a good pick. I mean, it was a safe pick.
It was a safe pick. It was a safe pick, but I wasn't just going for safe pick. I honestly just thought they would win.
I mean, you picked it because they obviously won. So, it was safe and it was correct. So, I mean, I always like to go a little bit off the beaten path a little bit. I thought Anaheim, and then I immediately realized even in the first round it was a mistake because I didn't think their goaltending was strong enough, and that was pretty obvious. You need your goalie to steal you a couple games to win Stanley Cup, and John Gibson didn't do that.
Not going to happen.
So.
Yeah, and Bernier's backup not happening either.
Yeah. So, but that was it. Great series. Actually, the playoffs as a whole was pretty exciting and pretty good for the game of hockey, I think. So,
It was good for Nashville to get in there and show that they had some excitement in that city, and it looked like it was fun to be there. Yeah. I am going to throw not a prediction out, but I'm just going to say, watch the Leafs, watch the Oilers next year.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
That's all you're going to say.
That's it. That's it. That's all I need to say.
This is it. This is it, man. This is it. I don't know what I'm channeling right now. This is it.
I remember now you were telling me something about Regal sent you some clips of a match you had.
Yeah. So his lordship, Sir Regal, my good friend,
the Beast Merchanator.
The Beast Merchanator, yes. Yeah. The man who used to come to the ring to real man's man.
Yeah.
Just a man who's a real man's man. So him and I had this match it was in Tokyo, and I'm trying to remember what arena, but I can't remember. Anyways, first time that WWE had been to Japan, I think it was like a decade or something like that. And I remember Shane came out to kind of introduce the show and everything, and he had a translator, and the Japanese fans booed the translator because they did. They booed the translator.
They wanted to hear what they saw on television, yeah.
Yeah, they wanted to hear Shane. They don't want to hear some guy, So Shane grabbed the mic and just started cutting a promo, and they cheered. And so Regal and I are out first. He's IC champ. We're in the middle of our run together, and I just remember going out there, and it was so not what I was expecting, especially from our previous Japanese experiences with, in New Tokyo Pro and all these, places. When I went out, they reacted like a U.S. crowd, but like a Chicago U.S. crowd, because they were just jazzed. They were jonesing for this, and to be first out, especially with Regal, because him and I had really good chemistry. We'd always talked about it being one of our favorite matches, because we just went out and we just wrestled, and and we've been wrestling for a while by that point. And I watched back a couple of our matches, and it was really I didn't realize what we were doing then was not the norm then, and you see it a lot more now. It was interesting, and we I don't know. Anyway. I got a little clip from Regal, like 3-minute clip of the match, and man, I'd really like to see that whole thing. I'm usually not big on watching my stuff back or anything like that, but that is one match that we always wish we could get our hands on just to watch it back once, And
so if one of the hosers somewhere has it, pass it on.
Yeah.
If you happen to videotape it or something, if you were there live.
Yeah. Me and Regal in Japan.
That's cool. I always had good matches with Regal too.
You and him had great matches.
I mean, on ECW, and we worked a lot on live events and stuff and overseas, and it was just felt like a real fight when we were in there. Like our styles just kind of meshed well. Like they were so opposite that it just worked. And I just thought that it was kind of had that like a real fight feel to it. And for some reason, we just meshed really well together. And even when I was wrestling as a heel and he was wrestling as a babyface, I know he didn't like wrestling as a babyface, or he was uncomfortable wrestling sometimes as a babyface. That wasn't his natural mannerisms and stuff like that. He's a villain. Yeah. And I remember one time we were working a live event, and we were doing stuff, and it was great, a really good match. And I remember after, and it was a really cool thing, and one of the coolest things that anybody said to me, but he came up to me after, and, he's kind of soft-spoken, and he said, you're the only person that I've been in the ring with where I really feel 100% comfortable as a babyface. And I thought that was a big compliment. I thought that was a pretty awesome thing to hear.
Yeah, especially from him, because he truly is a villain, like through and through out there. Not backstage, but out there he definitely is.
Yeah.
I always, at first I didn't know how to adapt to his style. But then as I started, we worked more and more and more, and it was just a lot of fun, really hard-hitting, physical, and I think a precursor, because we were both watching a lot of All Japan at that point. So it was a lot of really stiff, really solid forearms and clotheslines and, drop on heads and DDTs on aprons and things like that. But we were doing that in 2001.
Yeah, he's one of the few guys left too where you could just go out there and just work. Like you didn't have to try to set up anything. It was just, here's a finish and go out and do your thing. And that's what we did the majority of the time, and it just worked.
Yeah, and he'd go into something and he'd be like, I have no idea what we're going into here, and that's not a bad but that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, sure.
Because it looks like you're trying to figure out how to counter, because you are. Yeah. So anyway, got a little clip of that. I want to see more. Damn it.
Yeah.
And we'll have to have his lordship on here at some point.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that's I mean, we know that it's not and it's hard to do with live television with commercial cues and things like that, and pay-per-view and time limits and things like that. But do you think do you wish that it was still more of the calling in the ring type stuff going on? Because I mean, sometimes it's easier to feel a crowd like that too, right? When you have something planned out and it's not working in front of a certain crowd, and you don't get off that path, that it can, that's what can kind of make something seem not as good maybe as it is. But if you have that ability to change things up and adapt to what the crowd is giving you, then I mean, I think that's an important tool to be able to pull out of your belt.
I would hope, and I think that's probably still happening. You know, it can be difficult with a 2-segment match, but actually it's not. You just have to know how to do it. You just, you know, get your go to breaks and your finish, and then, you know, map in. I would always have some ideas slotted in my brain, and just go, okay, I'm going to toss this in here and then toss that in there, and vice versa, or pull out and accordingly, I guess.
Yeah.
But I still think that's got to happen. I still think it does. And
like live events are perfect for that, right?
It's interesting.
And work on that, and it's like a fun thing to do sometimes too, right? Where it's just like no real game plan. Let's just see what happens. And sometimes you make beautiful art doing that, right?
There were certain guys like Eddie. He didn't want to call anything in the back. And I was cool with that. Your Regal, same thing. Just go out and do it. Benoit, same way. And then there's some guys that liked every step of it, and that was okay too. As long as you always need the room to play with. Room, because and thankfully, like, you know, I know Kurt really. He liked to have stuff, you know, kind of, what are we doing, you know, kind of thing. And Kurt was enough of a natural to make it look like it wasn't mapped out, which is an art in itself.
Sure.
But also with Kurt, you know, he was a pro, so he could change on the fly if need be, kind of thing. I don't know how we got on that topic there, Bert.
I don't know. I was just kind of hit me in the brain when we started talking about how, like, with Regal and I just kind of went out there and winged it, probably the same way you guys did. Just was wondering, getting your thoughts on it. That's it. Simple as that.
All right, there it is. Yeah. There you have it. There you have it, Bert. Here we go. Oh, so how about I get a tweeter, a twit? Is it a twit?
It's a tweet.
Or is it no, it's a tweet, right? Okay.
No.
I seriously have no clue. And I just I'm looking at my Twitter right now. And so one of our JT Hossack at jhossack87 sends this clip of him saying, "Here we go," to his little baby boy in the bathtub.
That sounds funny. So cute.
And it is awesome.
Yeah.
It is so good.
Laughing.
I want to play it. I want to play it so bad. Matt, do you have it, or should I just put my phone up to my mic?
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
That's one of the greatest things. A baby's laugh. You just you can't top it. Whether you're a dad, it doesn't matter. A baby's laugh just rules.
Well, Adam, you know what this means, right?
What?
Your daughter was right. The show is good for kids.
It is good for babies.
Yeah.
Lyric was right. She called it last week.
Yeah, she did.
And JT Hosick and his son backed us up.
You know what would be even better? Is if he was dressed up like Michael Hayes. In
the bathtub.
Powder blue suit that's like 2 sizes too big with like a white fedora, fanny pack, super long bleach blonde hair hanging down. That'd be awesome.
Nabes. I gave you stereo.
Yeah. I don't think PS even knows that he has a catchphrase now.
I don't think he listens to podcasts, would be my guess. Is like the Penguins was a safe bet. I'd say that's a safe bet.
Yeah.
Also this week, I got some info from the Twitter machine that there is a Sweet Daddy Siki documentary by CBC Documentaries. It was on the CBC documentary channel this week. Yeah. I did an interview for it about 2 years ago, and I remember, being asked, and I just happened to be in Toronto. I was like, yeah, I want to be a part of this. People don't know the story of Siki. Yeah. They don't know what this man has done.
I know.
Because it happened in the, in the 60s and the 70s. But man, I mean, Siki was a trailblazer in the truest sense of the word. He broke down trails that racial prejudice, cultural, and hopefully this documentary will highlight that. I still haven't seen it. I've seen the 1.5-minute clip, and it's just awesome. If you go on my Twitter feed,
I wonder how people could watch it if they want to see it.
I don't know, honestly. I really don't. If somebody knows, tell me, because I'm not up in Canada. But I know CBC Documentaries, and it was on the CBC Documentary channel. If you go on my Twitter feed at EdgeRatedR, I have a 1.5-minute clip that I retweeted, and it looks awesome. And you got Bret Hart on there, you got Bruno Sammartino, you got Rocky Johnson, you got Charlie Pride. Wow. I mean, just some really, really neat, interesting interviews. For people who don't know who Sweet Daddy Siki is, or if they know that he trained us outside of that, along with Ron Hutchison, then you're going to learn a lot. And it's interesting, not only a microscope into the industry, but so much more than that. The turbulent times that were the 60s and 70s, and what an African American had to go through getting into this industry, let alone any industry at that point. So interesting stuff, to the point where he was the first black man to touch a white man in North Carolina in a wrestling match, and first world title match for an African American. I mean, just so many things that people probably have no clue about. So worth a watch.
Anybody has any information, if we find out any information, we'll definitely put it out there of how you can check it out, because I definitely want to see it.
Yeah, and I love Sweet Daddy. I mean,
I know he's a great guy.
Without him, it would have taken me a whole lot longer to get where I got to, and it all started with him and Ron Hutchison. So we got to check it out. Plus, he drives a purple hearse,
which is pretty awesome in itself, really.
Which is so badass.
Yeah.
Dude's in his 70s, drives a purple hearse, and I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Siki.
Yeah. Blonde afro. Does karaoke, sings country.
The
still in Parkdale.
The man's regret.
Still in Parkdale, does karaoke shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the man.
That's awesome.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So Bobby Roode.
The NXT champion.
He's on a good run.
He's really talented. I'm glad that he, that things have worked out the way they have for him. And I've always thought he was super talented. And
I'll tell you what, Bird. Why don't you quit flapping your gums now? Why don't we just talk to him?
You want to talk to Bobby?
Bobby.
Hold on, just a damn minute, Edge and Christian. What in the hell kind of an intro was that? If you want Stone Cold to teach you how to give Bobby Roode a proper entrance, give me a hell yeah! Let me just do my warm-ups really quick. Here we go. Glorious. No, I won't give in till I'm victorious. and I will defend, I will defend. Ba ba da ba 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 da ba da ba 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 blah blah blah. Glorious. No, I won't give in. I won't give in till I'm victorious. And I will defend. I will defend. And I will do what I must. No, I won't give in. I won't give in. I'm so glorious. Until the end. Until the end. I took a lot out of Stone Cold. I gotta take a nap.
You're listening to E&C's Pod of Awesomeness.
Okay, we've talked about it before. At E&C, we're a brand here, the Pod of Awesomeness. We had to go looking for people. We had to hire people, and you can't find the best candidates by posting your job on just one site. I mean, you need to post on all the top job sites, and now you can with ZipRecruiter. Where do you think we got Mega Matt?
That's what I was going to say. To his credit, he's the only one that could put up with us two idiots, but that's thanks to ZipRecruiter.com. You can post your job to 100 plus job sites with one click. Then their powerful technology efficiently matches the right people to your position.
That's why ZipRecruiter is different. Unlike other job sites, ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. I mean, it finds them. In fact, over 80% of jobs posted on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just 24 hours. That's one day, Jay.
Are you sure? Did you do the math on that?
I did.
Okay, good. Well, you know what? There's no juggling emails or calls to your office. Simply screen, rate, and manage candidates all in one place with ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use dashboard.
Find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by businesses of all sizes nationwide.
And right now, my listeners, mostly
Our
mine,
listeners.
they're ours, but mostly mine, can start forming their own winning team on ZipRecruiter for free.
Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/awesomeness.
That's ZipRecruiter.com/awesomeness. Try it for free today. Oh, man. Bubby.
Oh, man. So you just got back from NXT tour over in England, huh? You guys did a Download Festival? Is that right?
Yeah, we did download. So the last 3 days were downloads, so 2 shows a day. And then we did, we had 4 other shows. Actually, the one in Manchester was canceled because of the terrorist attack a couple weeks before, but we did 3 other live events. We did Scotland, and then we went into England and did Leeds and I don't know the other town. I forget what it was called. Somewhere near Manchester, though, I believe.
So
no, it was nowhere near. I would say it was nowhere near Manchester.
Is it Bournemouth or something?
No, it was close to Bournemouth.
Oh, okay.
It starts with a B. I really don't remember, to be honest with you. But yeah, we just got back. I got back last night.
I've never played I've never wrestled in front of like a concert audience.
Yeah.
How is that?
It was actually pretty good. So last year, my very first NXT show ever was a download. So it was like exactly a year to the day. But
oh, wow.
It was weird. Yeah. So it was really weird. There's like over 100,000 people. It's crazy. So a lot of like the rock music fans are like wrestling fans too. So we have a tent basically, and the tent was full for every show.
Nice.
It was all right. Yeah.
How many people could fit in the tent?
Well, inside the tent, probably about, I'm going to say close to 1,000, but then there was people outside the tent that they could see in. And sometimes like, I think the biggest one we had, there's probably 20 or 30 rows back. Like people were standing in the field watching. So I don't know, 1,500 maybe.
That's awesome.
People.
Who was the musical headliner this year?
Aerosmith was the big headliner Sunday night. Yeah.
All right.
Slayer was there. Jericho's band was there Sunday morning.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else was there. Like Good Charlotte, Sum 41, like those type of bands, and then there was a lot of like indie bands and stuff like that were there. It's weird, man. It's just, like, you walk back in the catering area, and it's like weird people all over the place.
and were you like, because sometimes with catering and wrestling catering, you're just used to dudes walking around in trunks at the catering line, right? It's just this is normal. Did you guys end up walking back there in your gear and like there's Steven Tyler going?
I wish. I wanted to. I actually called Steven Tyler out for a fight on Sunday night.
Did you?
Yeah.
He'd smoke you, man.
Yeah, I'd sell for him. He's 69 years old.
Wow. Yeah, you got to lay down for him. You got to just the one punch. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. No, we actually were like when the catering was up. So our shows were at like 2:30 in the afternoon and then 7. So we would usually just go. Nobody actually showed up in their gear, but that would have been awesome if somebody did. I would have did it for sure, but
That's great.
I was actually miserable there.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen that Killian Dane
Yeah,
show up in his gear. That would have been awesome.
we were actually doing free tattoos. They were doing free. There was a guy there in the catering area. There was like a big tent, so the food was up, and there's a bunch of tables, and there was like a massage therapist, an osteopath, chiropractor, and then a guy giving free tattoos in the catering area.
You missed your chance to get that big back piece you wanted to get, Bobby.
Yeah. I thought about it.
That's something you don't necessarily want free.
Yeah.
If someone's giving tattoos away for free, then I have to question the workmanship, the artistic ability right away.
Yeah. I didn't expect it at all, but I didn't trust him.
Didn't trust him.
Well, it sounds like you guys had a good tour there. I mean, and it's like I was just actually there a little bit about a week or so ago myself for a Comic-Con, and the UK fans, huge wrestling and WWE fan base over there, always support like the shows and even the Comic-Cons coming out and seeing the superstars that they like to see. But it was
and then
so it
they,
sounds like it was a
even
good tour.
go see old has-beens like you.
Yeah, exactly.
And me. And like, hey, you guys used to be something. And we go, yeah. That's it.
It sounds like it was a good tour overall.
It was a lot of fun. So yeah, we had good crowds too. It was last year when we went, it was really good. And then this year again, it was great.
Yeah. Who was working on top?
Yeah.
Bobby Roode.
Yes, that's right. I was. Actually, you know what? I did normally last year, I want to say it was Finn and Joe and Nakamura were there. So they were working on top, but it was always 6-man tags or 8-man tags. I had one 8-man tag and one regular tag. I had singles the rest of the nights.
Oh, wow.
They're ripping me, but that was fun. It was good. It was I was getting the shit kicked out of me by Drew McIntyre every night, but no, it was good. It was fun.
Oh, and in Scotland too, right?
Oh man,
right. The very first night was me and him in his home country.
Whoa.
He wasn't excited at all.
Yeah.
Right? That'd be the equivalent of working a 6-man against the 3 of us in Toronto.
Man.
Yeah, that's right.
Just cover up.
A handicap 6-man.
Yeah.
Like a pack of wolves.
Yeah.
Canadian timber wolves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I was on the tour, I would have thanked you for the house, Bobby.
Yeah. Nobody thanked me for the house.
Nobody thanks it. Yeah. So you've been there and you work Nakamura, you then work Ono, Otani? No, not Otani. What name?
Yeah.
Otani.
Yeah.
Atami.
Yes. Atami.
Atami?
Hideo
Yeah.
Atami, yeah. Yep.
Atami. Yeah, he still Kenta to me.
Yeah.
And now Roderick Strong. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Look at you.
Had you ever worked with Roderick Strong before this?
No, we never did. He was in TNA for a short while.
Uh-huh.
But we never actually did anything together. So, kind of looking forward to that.
He's a good dude too. I really like him.
He's a really good guy.
Yeah, nice guy. It's good to see. It's always nice to see guys like yourself and EY and guys like Roddy and put so many years in and not take the easiest path and still finally make it there. And I mean, we all know what you're doing now is building this huge momentum. And on one of these shakeups or on after WrestleMania or something, you're going to pop up, that music's going to hit, and the place is going to go berserk. How's that feel after 20 years in the business?
It's you know what, I don't know, man. It's kind of crazy. I never actually talking about the song. I never really imagined me as a performer having this that type of song to capture this to be able to capture this type of audience. So big. And obviously you guys know having an entrance and having a song that people can connect with is that's half the battle, right?
Yeah.
So when your music hits and the people react to that, I mean you're already you're already ahead of the game. And I've never really had that before. And now, like, having this song and then the entrances that I've been given and the takeovers and everything else has been so cool. And it makes my job, you know, a lot easier in one aspect. But then in the other aspect, like when I had this song and like even before I debuted in Brooklyn last year on SummerSlam weekend, like the song already had close to 1 million downloads.
Wow.
So
really,
you know, and
wow.
yeah, and like I never realized how big the song was until like the music hit that night and I was doing my entrance, and it was just like I had to like take a second and kind of like, wow, this is cool. So like in one aspect that it made it a little easier, but in the other aspect is like it's hard because I got to make sure like it's not just about the song and it's not just about the entrance.
Yep.
Like I got to go in there and I got to have everything meshed together and not only have like make the song and the entrance make me look like a star, but I got to proceed. Like I got to be in there. I got to be a star while I'm working. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's one thing to be presented like a superstar or like a big deal, and then to go out and be the big deal. Like you said, you have to follow it up. But be honest, the first time you heard the song before you played it, were you like, "Whoa, what is this?" It was making me a little bit nervous because, like, from personal experience, like when I had this song, when I first Edge and I split away from each other, and I had the Christian, at last you're on your own. I was like, whoa. I was like, oh my God, like I don't know if I can come out to this. It was so different than anything that was on the show at that point. But then I realized that was a good thing. And it was kind of, I was a heel, so it was like kind of fit what I was doing. And then when people were singing it back to me, and they still to this day, when I see them, they sing it to me, like just randomly on the street, I'll see people and they'll start singing it. And it's like, it kind of sticks in your brain. So you need something like that. Like this one's so big that like we were talking about it before you came on, like at the Nashville Predators in the Stanley Cup Finals in between periods, they're playing Glorious, Victorious. You know, they're playing it at sporting events, which is huge.
And you know what's great about that?
Cool.
What's great about that too is even if people don't watch wrestling, they hear that it's going to come back around, and people will go, "Oh, that's that wrestler's song," and then people, Google it, and you're going to get that much more attention on you because of that from people outside at sporting events that hear it or whatever, or people are at sporting events and go, "Oh, that's Bobby Roode's song, awesome! They're using that, cool." Because I was watching a Bruins game and I heard it come on, I was like, "You got to be kidding me! The Bruins are using Bobby's song. That's awesome."
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool, man. Especially like I actually did a couple promos on my phone to send into the Nashville Predators for the playoffs because they actually adopted the song for their playoff run, and they contacted the WWE office and asked me if I would shoot a couple quick promos or whatever. I don't know if they ever played them on the big screen, but they definitely used my song. I remember watching the game when they beat I believe it was St. Louis, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, after the game when they're shaking, after the series is over, they continually, like, my song continually played. I'm watching it on like Hockey Night in Canada, and like, Ron McLean's talking, and Don Jarrett, and my song is like playing. As a bit of a surreal moment, but you're right. I mean, going back to you, Christian, like that song when I first heard it, like originally I had a different song that was given to me before, like for my debut, and then I was at TV. And I was still waiting for some paperwork to be finished up before I could start on TV. But I was at ringside, and Hunter was there with Michael Hayes, and he said, "I got this song that we just had laying around. I don't know who they made it for, but they never used it for anybody." And I listened to it, and it was like completely different than what I had before. Mm-hmm. So, and my thinking was like, this is totally different. Like you said with your song, it's totally different than anything else on the show. And so it could really suck, or it could be really great. And then, of course, I took it back to the hotel, and I let EY listen to it, and he said, "What is this, like gospel music?" Like he hated it, of course. So then it got me thinking. Like, oh my God, like maybe this is really going to suck. But then obviously it didn't suck. It's been great. So, I mean, the song itself was totally a blessing in disguise.
That's cool. Don't ever listen to EY and his musical opinions, because I heard it and I was like, oh man, this is going to be huge. After the first chorus, I was singing the chorus, and
it's catchy.
And it reminds me of Queen. It reminds me a little bit of The Darkness, that kind of tongue-in-cheek, over the top. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. But hey, to your point, bell rings, music stops. You got to back it up. You got to get in there and have good matches. But the great part about it is you're not some kid who's been working for 3 years or something and has been churned out. You've gotten your chops and cut your teeth over the years. As a matter of fact, and I don't know what match of yours it was, but I worked you really early in your career in somewhere in Hamilton.
Yeah, we did. So that I don't know if you knew this at the time. So it was 1998. I broke into the business in June of 1998. I believe we had our match in like August of 98. So I was like 8 matches in. eight matches. Now, of course, we kind of knew each other, kind of, sort of, because you were friends with Val Venus, and of course, Val kind of broke me in a little bit. So we kind of had that connection. So I think you kind of trusted me a little bit, but I didn't. I kind of got the feeling like when we talked, like you, I don't know if you really fully trusted me or not, because I didn't know, at the time, I don't think you knew how many matches I had, right? I
knew that you were green, but I didn't know, to what extent. But if memory serves me, I talked to Sean and was like, so I think I'm working this guy. What do you think? Oh, he's good. Don't worry. And if it's from somebody that I trust, then I go, oh, okay. Because at that point, I'm just starting on TV, all of those things. I'm like, okay, man, I can't get injured, because WWF at that point was subbing us out, for indies to try and, make us extra money, and then also, help indies out. People don't realize that was happening then. And, but I do remember we talked about some stuff in the back, but after the first spot, I was like, oh, wow. All right. This is going to be good. It's not just going to be, we'll get through this. This is going to be a good match. He can go. And I think I gave you a baseball slide to the floor and a flapjack, and I remember how easy they both felt. And I was like, all right, we're good.
Yeah. No, it was fun. That was a fun night. And I was nervous, and no disrespect. I wasn't nervous because I was getting in the ring with you, because I knew all about you. And, of course, Sean told me about you, and you were starting on TV at the time and everything like that. But I was excited about the match, but I was more nervous because I don't know if you knew this either, but there was like a busload of people that came from Peterborough, where I live. Like all of my family came up. I had like 20 friends on this bus that came and like went to the show in Hamilton and watched the show. Like half of the crowd there was my family.
Oh, so you got that extra. Oh man, I didn't know that.
Adam, did you thank Bobby for the house?
Yeah, you never even thanked me for the house.
I didn't. You're right. I didn't thank him for the house. Damn it.
You still Damn it. That it's funny. I look back on that. It was like, okay, so I got 8 matches in. My entire family's there. I have a bunch of friends there, and I'm in the ring with you. And but it was. I had a lot of fun. I still look back on it, and I'm amazed how well it went. I remember we fought on the floor a lot.
Yeah.
I think we like went all over. It was like a small little gymnasium. It was a lot of fun. And then shortly after that, I went to like Puerto Rico. Like I was booked to go to Puerto Rico.
Yep.
Sean helped me get over there, and I literally was over there, and I thought I was coming home to quit. I was there for 3 days. I hated every minute of it, and I wanted to quit the business. I did. It was crazy. It was crazy. So I went on this like great high. I had this great match with the WWF star, and then I go to Puerto Rico and completely crap the bed and want to quit the business.
That's the way it works sometimes.
Was it when you went over there that you didn't feel like you were having good matches, or was it like you just weren't ready for it yet, or what do you mean, like you thought you were going to quit the business?
There was a huge hurricane that ripped through there. So like the houses were down, and they put us up in the, I'm sure you've heard of the Dahlia, right? The hotel over there where the company would put all the guys up there in the Dahlia. And the Dahlia was a rundown old motel when it was good. But now Hurricane, I want to say it's Hurricane George, just ripped the entire, the entire island apart. And they put me up at the Dahlia, and I have no electricity. I have no running water, and here I am like a month or 2 into the business. I'm like, what am I doing right now? Like this is not worth it. And, I'm on the road with I'm driving in these vans, and we went up to Saint Germain, which is on the island. It's like way up in the mountains. And we're driving in this like small little minivan with like 8 guys in it. And we're going up to Saint Germain in the mountains, and there's like no barricade. Like you can literally if you weren't watching the road, you could just go right over, you'd be done. That'd be it. The van would go down over the mountains, you'd be done. And I remember my very last night when I was contemplating, do I stay, do I go? I remember I was driving back to the hotel with Glamour Boy Shane and
Shane Sewell,
the Heartbreakers. Yep. And the Heartbreakers, who were a tag team at the time. Frankie, I can't think of the last name. Frankie and his partner. Anyways, older guys, veterans, good guys, and Frankie was driving for whatever reason. I don't know why. But had a little bit of road rage, and then we had a gun pulled on us.
Wow.
Ooh.
On our way back to the hotel, and I was like, yeah, time for me to go home. So, yeah, that's my Puerto Rico story right there.
Wow. And you mentioned real quickly there, too, Shane Sewell, Glamour Boy Shane, is a guy that really flew under the radar, but was super talented, was partners with Sean, with Val. I think they were the Glamour Boys, right?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
In Ontario. And I remember seeing them in Ontario and thinking, I mean, they were both, they had a great look. They looked like a team. And then, of course, he went to Puerto Rico. But he was, they said he flew under the radar, maybe not so well known, especially in the U.S., but he was really good.
He was good,
yeah. He was really good. And I credit him to the majority of my training. Really, like I credit a lot of people for my training. Obviously, Sean broke me in and taught me the basics and everything like that. But Shane kind of really took me under his wing. And, him and I would drive to Hamilton, every weekend. And honestly, during that time, it didn't take me long to kind of pick up on things. And I don't know what it was. I just picked up on everything pretty naturally. I don't know if it was just because I was, such a fan for so long or whatever it was, but I kind of picked up on everything, like the moveset and the psychology of stuff pretty quickly. And then the next thing I knew, I started training in like late April, early May. And then the next thing I know, like June, I'm having a match, and then, so Shane really kind of brought me along and helped me a lot during those early years. And Shane, I saw Shane working in Puerto Rico when I was over there, and the guy was he was like a god on the island. You literally couldn't walk down the street without people going up to him and wanting pictures or talking to him or whatever. He was just super, super talented. And he actually had a short stint in TNA for a while. He came in as a referee.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oddly enough, and then ended up working. And he was so good, in my opinion. He was probably one of the most underrated guys out there that never really got his break.
It's funny you say about the TNA because I was there at the time as well when he came in, and I remember I said to somebody, I was like, "You realize this guy's better than 90% of the roster, right?" And you have him as a referee. And, But yeah. Yeah,
and he ended up actually going back to Puerto Rico for a while and working a little bit more. But at that time, the territory was pretty much done.
Done at that point.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
So you get back from there. What changes your mind to stick with it?
It's one of those things when it just got in my blood. I couldn't stop thinking about it. You know what I mean? I came home and I did a couple indies, but in Toronto, I never really did a lot of independent wrestling in Toronto, in Ontario. I did a couple shows and met the right people, and then I got my break really came in 2000 when Emile Dupree reached out to me and booked me for his Grand Prix tour out in the East Coast, which you guys both did in the late 90s, and it really just turned me around. I went out there and I worked from the end of May to, I think we ended up shutting down then in the 1st of July, but it was whatever it was, 5 weeks, 6 weeks of, I wrestled every single night, and I was on the road every single night, and I just fell in love with the business and the travel. And I ended up, it's funny because I went out there with 4 guys from Ontario, and Emile put us up in one of his apartments in Shediac, right down the street from his house. So as you know, he's a millionaire and owns pretty much all of Shediac.
Yeah.
And so he put us up in
the lobster capital of the world.
Right. So there was 5 of us, and of course he owns 12 apartments, but he puts all of us in one apartment. Right? That's how cheap he is, right? Am I right?
Yeah, I just Yeah.
So there was 1 bedroom in the apartment, and of course the Cuban assassin got it because of course QB was 67 years old at the time.
He deserves it. Yep.
Yeah, I thought he deserved it. So he had the bedroom, and the 4 of us slept on. Emile got us air mattresses, and there was a little TV and a chair, and we slept there. And then little by little, everybody ended up getting either sent home or quitting. And by the end of the tour, it was just me and the Cuban assassin left in the apartment. So, anyways, it was a lot. It was a lot of fun, And then I learned a lot there, and got to work with some old timers and quite a cast of characters, and it really made me appreciate the business and love it even more.
It's so key, and it's funny because I just had this conversation with Beth today, And I was talking about our tour out there, and I said, for 7 days a week, I worked Bad News Brown, and then once we did the second loop through, I worked Rip Rogers, and then on the third loop through, Jay and I were working Rick Martel and Cyrus. And if you don't learn with those, 3 sets of matches, then you're doing something wrong. But also it does give you an appreciation. You can't help but soak all of that in when you got guys that have been in the industry at that point 30 years.
And at that point in time, too, at that stage in your career, you need ring time is key, right? You're learning every time. I mean, I think you learn till the day you stop wrestling, you should be learning. But that's a really key point, I think, in anybody's career. And I remember out there for us, and it was probably the same for you, that we were working 8 times a week. We were working twice on Sundays. So it was it was a great summer that we had. I'm sure that you had the same experiences.
Yeah, I went back to summer after, actually, and ran for another company. So it began to get so popular out there when Emil kind of started to slow down a little bit. Like I said, the first year, 2000, he only ran for about 5 weeks and then had enough. He basically was only running for his son, Yeah. And at the time, he was like 15 years old, maybe 16 years old.
Huh. Yeah.
So,
Renee, right? I think it was Renee at that. Yeah.
Yeah, Renee. So he was running basically only for Renee. And then the year after that, I think he kind of started something but didn't really get it off the ground. And then there was another group that kind of opened up and started. We literally went from, June all the way until even into September. Like we worked every day. So that itself was a lot of fun. And I worked with a lot of really good guys. Robert Kurgan, got to work with him a lot.
Yes.
Chichi Cruz.
Cheech is the best, man.
Cheech is the best. I mean, I learned, Cheech is another guy that kind of flew under the radar, never really got a break, but he literally was one of the best I've ever been in the ring with. He was so light and just knew so much and just fluent and easy to work with. And I just went in there honestly and opened my ear. I didn't listen to the guy because he was, I learned so much from, just getting in the ring with him and just listening to him and working with him at just such an easy pace. So I got an opportunity to work with all those guys for like 3 or 4 months that summer, and then in 2002 I went back for a little bit longer, and then and throughout that time, I'm gaining a lot of experience and I'm learning a lot, not only about like the business within the business, but the business outside the business. You know what I mean? The travel and and the money and the eating and all that stuff that you learn back in the territory that really don't exist anymore. So I was fortunate enough to be involved at that time that I could kind of take that experience with me now and kind of try to pass that along,
Well, yeah, and basically it means not getting your money and maybe not eating is what the learning is. Yeah. It's like learning that you might not get your full pay and you might not eat. Yeah.
The one thing I can say about Emil is that I always got paid. It wasn't always a lot of money, but he would always have cash in his pocket. He would always walk down and he'd ask me if I want to draw or if I need money. He would always give me the right amount of money every week. It could have been half on Tuesday, the rest on Saturday, but it was always like he always made sure that he took care of me.
That's cool.
It's funny. There's actually a story when I went out there. I joined the tour like a couple weeks after it had already started, and he called me and he's like, "Hey, can you come out and do you mind paying for your own airline ticket and I pay you back cash when you get here?" And I was like, yeah, sure, I guess so. So I can't remember how much it was, like $300-400 or something. And we got there, did the first show, and to his credit, he came up and he's like, "Hey, I owe you money for the flight, right?" I was like, "Yeah," and I gave him the receipt or whatever. And so he starts counting out the cash in my hand, right? He's counting, and then somebody asked him a question, and I guess what happened was he turned his head and started talking to the person, but he was still putting the money out into the palm of my hand. And when the person walked away and he turned back, I think he started counting where he left off. So he kept counting. So he leaves. I go back. I'm not paying attention either. I go back and I have this wad of cash in my hand. I start counting it. All of a sudden it's like $1,500. And the ticket was only like $400. So I'm like, oh, so I counted it like 2 or 3 times. I took what he owed me for the ticket out and I went back and I said, "Excuse me, Emil." I was like, "I think you gave me too much money." And he said, "What?" And I was like, I handed it back to him and said, "I think you counted too much money." He's like, "Well, how did that happen?" I was like, I have no idea. But he's like, oh, geez. And then he was really cool because he's like, "A lot of people wouldn't have done what you did in giving it back." And I was like, well, I mean, I didn't want to be dishonest, but get back. And every time he saw him, he's like, thank you for that news. Not a lot of people would have done that, but it was just funny that you said money and how cheap he was, but yet he just doled out a ton of cash to a guy that was broke.
he was super cheap, and that's probably why he's so rich. But I remember we did. I don't know where we were in the Maritimes, but I was traveling with him in the van with Renee. And Renee, at the time, I guess, again, 16 years old, and we all stopped at like a McDonald's or something and got food. We all went in and got food, but he told Renee that he couldn't go in and buy anything, that he packed him a lunch. And he had like orange juice and like a sandwich in a cooler, and didn't give Renee any money to go in and get McDonald's like all the rest of the boys who were poor. But, he made Renee drink an orange juice and like a peanut butter sandwich.
Wow.
Anyways, good times.
So the Maritimes comes to an end. What's next after that? You just kind of head back and look for the next thing, or?
Yeah, so during that time, I kept in pretty close contact with Tom Pritchard, who was in charge of talent relations for WWF at the time. And when I got back from the Maritimes, I did some enhancement matches and some dark matches and stuff. Throughout. Probably, I want to say, well, you know what? My very first dark match was in '99. I want to say against Perry Saturn. Wow. It was actually a TV.
Oh, wow.
It was for like Saturday night, whatever, Shotgun Saturday.
Shotgun Saturday, yeah.
One of those, and that was like my very first WWE experience was that. And then so they kept bringing me back, and then Johnny Ace kind of took over there for talent relations, and Johnny would always book me and bring me in, but nothing ever really came about from it. But I continued, like after I was done in 2002 in the Maritimes, I came back, and I believe that was the year WrestleMania was in Toronto.
Yeah.
I want to say.
17,
and then, so TV was in Montreal, and I got called about a month before that to go to TVs and do Raw. So I went there, and then I had a match, and there was a tag match. It was me and another guy against Tommy Dreamer and Kidman. We had a really good match, and I got to the back, and Johnny said, "Would you be interested in going to Cincinnati for a developmental camp?" So basically, there was one prior to that. AJ went to it. I remember there was a couple other guys that got hired from it. Renee actually went as well. So it was the second camp that they had. I went to that, and it was a week-long camp in Cincinnati. Tom Pritchard ran it. Les Thatcher kind of was there running it as well. It had a really good camp, and then basically at the time they asked me, like, would you be interested in moving to Cincinnati and being and working for the developmental system? And that's all I ever really wanted. Going to all these shows, like whenever like the WWE was in like a 300-mile radius of me, I would drive. Like I remember EY and I driving to Pennsylvania from Toronto, College Park, Pennsylvania, 15 hours or whatever it was to get there, and just to network and just to show my face as much as possible. And all I really wanted was an opportunity. So I thought, once I finished in Cincinnati, when they started talking to me about, moving down there and getting a developmental deal and all that, I thought that was it. A week later, in and around a week later, they ended up closing Cincinnati down and moving everybody to OVW. So that got squashed. No, I don't think anybody got hired. Actually, Sylvain Grenier was the only one that got hired, I believe, from that group. So anyways, again, at the time I'm like, I don't know, this just isn't really working out for me or whatever. But I still continue to like show up and show my face and keep in contact and do whatever I could. And then here comes 2004, and I get a call from good old Scott D'Amore, and asked me if I'd be interested in coming down to TNA and doing a pay-per-view for them.
Bobby, just real quick, Bobby, I just want to back up real quick before we get to that, because I feel like you're skipping over something here, or you're trying to avoid it, and we're hard hitting here on E&C's Pod of Awesomeness, so I just want to. I think you're trying to avoid the questions of the hairstyles. I think we need to talk about that,
because I think if I remember Montreal correctly, didn't you have bleach blonde for that?
There was a time where I had bleach blonde. There was a time I had bleach blonde hair. I had a nice purple cape. Actually, it made Velocity. So I mean, that footage is out there.
To be found. Yeah.
The thing is, the crazy thing is like I wanted to be a part of the WWE so bad. I wanted to be a part of the business so bad that I would do anything. I was doing whatever they asked me to do. Like Johnny, at times I thought Johnny Ace was just ribbing me. Because every time I'd go there, he goes, well, I think you need to do something different. I think next time you should do this, and next time you should do that. Well, maybe you should do this, maybe you should do that. So every time I would come back, I would look different or try to have something like new gear or something different that made me kind of stick out. So there was some questionable times definitely with my appearance.
It's interesting though, because I remember Jay and I would like constantly say about you and EY, we're like, man, these guys are good. Like, there's got to be something. And we'd get the same thing. Oh, well, they got to get something different, just something that stands out. So we were getting the same story that you were getting, if it makes you feel any better, when we would, ask about you guys.
That. Yeah. And the best, I think the best, I'm not going to say excuse because I'm not, it is what it is. And there's, of course, there's a million guys trying to get jobs there at the time, but like, I think the worst, I'm going to say excuse.
I'll say lip service.
Was that, it was told to EY and I at the same time. We were together and Johnny Ace said that we were too TV ready to be put in developmental. So basically that we were too good at that point to get a job, which was baffling.
Yeah.
But looking back on it, it was good for me because it kind of like it set a fire in me. And then of course TNA came along, and then it was like, okay, this is my opportunity, and here we go. Yeah.
It's interesting too. I know, for me personally, any time that there was something like that lit a fire for me, it really drove me drove me to prove either people wrong and it might not be the most healthy incentive, but I always found that those were the things that got me to keep clawing forward, So you have all those years in TNA. We talked to Eric about it, and he said, with the way the schedule was, he's 35 years old now, or he's 37 years old now, but he doesn't feel like he's bumped the amount of years that he's been in the business just because of the way the schedule was. That he feels like he has a lot more years of bumping in him than the average 37-year-old would, who was working, let's say, WWE.
Right. Yeah, I can see that. And especially for EY, I mean, he was like, for the majority part of his career at TNA, he was like a comedy act almost, which is crazy because he's such an unbelievable worker. And not a lot of people got to see that side of him because he was so entertaining without having to do all of the wrestling stuff. So, I mean, he saved his body a lot and was successful and was able to build his brand there like I did, but I just had a different role. But I agree with that. I mean, like the last 3 years at TNA, we stopped doing house shows. We did TV once a month, and, we would do TV like for 4 or 5 days in a row, but then you would be off for like 6 or 7 weeks. And it got to the point for me, like I was pushing 40 years old and my body just couldn't, like I couldn't go to work and be home for 6 weeks and then go to work and be expected to wrestle twice a day or 5 or 6 nights in a row. Like there was one loop that we did 9 days in a row. 9 days, and we would take pay-per-views in the morning, and then we'd come back at night and do another pay-per-view or TV or back-to-back. Like sometimes we would do 2.5 shows a night.
Wow.
Like it was a lot, and then we would go home and as you guys would know, like you callus up if you bump if you on a normal schedule, your body calluses up and you get used to it and you feel good. And then you go home for like 6 weeks and then it's like you go back on the road and that first bump is like, it feels like you got ran over by a truck. That's just how it was with me. And it was like, first of all, I didn't really want to get into the business for that. Like I wanted to.
And then you factor in ring rust too, right? Like, I mean, you have to, when you hold yourself at a high level, when you want to perform at a certain level, and you said you have those big gaps, and you're not in there, and you're not working, you're not getting the reps that you need to stay sharp.
Right. And there was many times, like in the position that I was near the end of my career, where I was like in the top matches, and I would be home for 6 weeks, and then I would be expected to go out and work a 20 or 25 minute match with like a Bobby Lashley, which you want to have great matches, but your timing's off, and you just don't feel you don't feel like you're at 100%. And then saying that, like, I wanted to, I got into the business to be in the business. You know, I didn't, it sounds like I know, kind of backwards, but I didn't want to be home all the time. Like, I wanted to be on the road, and I wanted to get those reps in, and I wanted to be on all the live events, and I wanted to kind of tour around and do the, like, have that sort of schedule. And with TNA, it was just like, I felt like I was really just spinning my wheels near the end of it. And I started to really, like, not like my job, which was a kind of an eye-opener for me, because I never was in a position in the last, 17 years up to that point where I really hated wrestling. And I really started to hate it. And I had
then it becomes a job.
Yeah, it became a job, and I hated leaving home. Like, I just, I didn't look forward to being in Orlando for 7 days in a row and performing at the studio twice a day. Like, I didn't like it. It wasn't what I got in the business for. So I really had to kind of reevaluate what I wanted to do, and I was getting older, and I didn't know if I would have an opportunity at WWE, or I thought about maybe trying to go to Japan at that time, but I just knew, like, that staying at TNA really wasn't an option for me. So I ended up getting out of I finished up my third year of my contract. I had 1 year left, and we kind of just mutually parted ways. So
from there, do you get a call from WWE about NXT? Do you reach out? Like, how's that work that you end up, coming in as this kind of hot free agent?
Well, I became pretty good friends with Samoa Joe over the years at TNA, and Joe was already at NXT, and, we would talk here and there. And of course, Austin Aries was just getting started with NXT near the time I was ending with TNA. So, we all we chatted a little bit and stuff like that. And obviously, when I was finishing up with TNA, I knew that we came to an agreement that I was going to finish up in March, finish the 5 or 6 weeks of TV that was left or whatever I had to do there, and then I was done. So the day that I was finished, I got a phone call from Matt Bloom, and then the balls kind of started rolling from there.
Nice.
And then we kind of worked it out. I ended up talking to Triple H on the phone about a week and a half later. And then kind of just, really it was like a 30-minute conversation, just really kind of laid back and just kind of told him what I was looking to do. And, he was kind of gave me his 2 cents on what he was kind of looking for, and hopefully that we could maybe, honestly, when the initial conversation started, it was like, well, maybe we'll just look at like a 3-month thing or a 6-month thing and see where it ends up. And, he asked me if I would, would coaching be at the PC be an option for you if nothing works out. It was just like, it was kind of just like a wide range conversation about everything. And then I got a call a couple days before WrestleMania in Dallas last year, and they asked me to come down to NXT TakeOver the night before, and I got there, talked to Hunter for about maybe 5 minutes, met a lot of guys in the locker room, and then they put me in the front row right before the main event started. And it was wild, man, because it was just like, I got there, and it was like, I think I saw you guys in the green room that day when I was checking in. I think I saw you guys there. And I just kind of knew, like, from the moment I got there, like, this is where I needed to be. And, fortunately, like, everything just kind of, the ball started rolling pretty quickly, and one thing has led to another. And, here we are a year later.
Yeah, that's right. We were standing there. I was like, hey, how's it going, man?
Yeah.
And they took you through a back elevator. And
yeah, so they got me, like, they got me a plane ticket, like, the day before. It was a Thursday. They sent me an email with my itinerary, and Friday morning I was flying to Dallas. So it happened pretty quick. Yeah.
And it usually does. It usually just kind of snowballs once the plans are set in motion like that.
Yeah.
But it's funny too that you talk about what, like, all of a sudden you're like basically overnight you're at WrestleMania, and going back to talking where there was nothing for you at one certain time, and you had to take a different path, and everybody takes their own path, right? But I think that anything worth having sometimes it's the path along the way that's difficult, with the peaks and valleys that make you better and make you appreciate and make you keep working harder. And I think that's what instills, like, work ethic in guys that compete at a top level,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I wouldn't go back and change anything. Like, honestly, timing is everything. And obviously, like, back in 2002 or whatever it was, when I thought I was getting hired, the time wasn't right for whatever reason. Things just didn't work out, and I was able to go somewhere else. And I got to learn from a lot of great guys. Like, I mean, I got to work with you, Christian. I got to work with Kurt Angle, Booker, Steiner, Nash. I mean, RVD. I mean, there's a ton of talent that came through those doors that I had the opportunity to work with and learn from. So I wouldn't go back and change anything at this point. I'm just, I think the peaks and valleys that I went through to get to this point now has helped me now and will continue to help me, throughout my career.
And it says something too, with like the belief in yourself. And we've talked about it on this podcast before, as sometimes you just have to take a chance on yourself, bet on yourself, and like to walk away from, a year's worth of guaranteed pay is it's a big risk. But if you, if you believe in what you're doing, then it usually works out.
Yeah, and that's basically what I did. I knew that, I did have that guaranteed money there, but the money wasn't why I got into the business in the first place. So I knew that I was in a position where I was kind of getting late in my years, and if I was going to have an opportunity somewhere else, that was the time to do it.
Well, it's interesting too, all those years and working all those name talents that you just said and learning from them and everything. You walk into NXT and they know they got a player straight out of the gate. Like they can slot you in against Nakamura and put you right in there. And while those guys are ready to slide out, while Joe and Nakamura and those guys are getting ready to move to SmackDown or Raw, they can slot you right into that position because you have so much experience at that point. And you made it to the top as world champion and to the top of the card in TNA. You've already done it in NXT. How do you see everything going from here, or how would you like to see it go?
Well, I mean, obviously, I would like to see myself at a WrestleMania, but I think that's everybody's goal. I'm just honestly at this point, NXT is an amazing place to work. I mean, I don't think a lot of people realize how great it is. And EY and I joke about it all the time. Is like, I don't think these guys know how good they have it. I mean, we literally, we fly, we get on our flight, we land, we have a bus pick us up, we have our food paid for, we have our hotels taken care of, we have gyms in the city where we are already set, we have rides. I mean, it's just,
man,
it's a really, it's amazing. I mean, it's great. And you get an opportunity to, the NXT is such a hot brand right now. We work in front of great crowds and we're on the road a lot. Like I got home last night and I have 2 days home and then we're back on the road for live events again this weekend. So like the schedule is busy, but I mean, they take such good care of you and the talent in the locker room is like so, eager to learn and want to get better. And every match is, they want to go out there and try to steal the show. So it's just an amazing atmosphere every time you're there. But I mean, of course, I mean, I'm having a great time being world champion and working, in the main storylines and working with the top tier talent in NXT. But I obviously want to get to the main roster. I want to have that WrestleMania moment or moments and, and see where that can take me. I'm being patient. Like I said, I think the experience that I've gained throughout my career has taught me to be patient. And I don't ask a lot of questions. I just kind of go about my business and do my own thing. And hopefully that one day I'll get my chance.
Well, show up, put your head down, work hard, always produce, and eventually it's gonna, it happens. And you can already see that in the work you've put in NXT.
I was basically going to echo that. I was just going to say that I've always believed that true talent will always shine through in the end, no matter what. And I think that, like you said, it steps here, and the NXT has been great for you because now you're proving that, first of all, from the first reaction you got when they first saw you on screen at TakeOver at Dallas, and then you're working your way up, and now proving that you can be the guy on a brand, on a show. That was just going to help you and put more confidence in not only yourself, but in, the office or the writers or whoever it is moving forward when it is time to go to the main roster.
Yeah. And with that being said, like obviously they had some confidence in me, like Adam said, when I first got there, and I had the opportunity to like my first tour last year when we did the Download Fest, we had some live events outside the Download Fest. And my very first show outside of Download, I wrestled Nakamura. So they had the confidence in me to go out there with their top guy and had, have a match with him. So from that point forward, it's about making the best of the opportunities you're given too in this business. And I think that I've been able to do that. And, obviously going and doing the stuff that I did with Nakamura before he got called to the main roster. And then, all the takeovers really, I mean, from the entrances that they've allowed me to have and given me, just the opportunities. I think that's the key thing, is that you just have to keep continuing to make the most of every opportunity that you're given.
Well, it's having those entrances, it instills confidence because they're invested. It's like, okay, if they're letting me have this entrance and this whole production, that means they believe in me, and that in turn, just gives confidence that you are the horse that's pulling the cart. So now you're the guy that's pulling the cart down there. There's a bunch of horses, on SmackDown and Raw. Who do you see there that you'd be like, chomping at the bit to get in there with, let's say, at a WrestleMania? Like, if you sit down and you were to go, all right, if I could book my own WrestleMania match, who would it be? What are we doing? That kind of deal. Because I used to always do that. I'm like, man, I want to get my hands on Taker.
Yeah. Well, obviously that would be amazing if that was, if he was still around to do that. Obviously, Undertaker is a huge name, and I would love to have been able to do something with him or do something with him. But honestly, I think if I'm looking at it right now, John Cena always is first and foremost. I think that John is he's been the guy for over a decade there now, and I think to wrestle Cena in a WrestleMania would be pretty amazing. But there's a lot of guys there that I would love to do some stuff with. I mean, obviously Roman's a huge star, and I mean Seth Rollins. Seth kind of took the similar path that I did. I mean, he did a lot of indies and stuff, and then got his break in NXT, and then got called up, and there he is now. But just get into the ring with him there. Obviously, Bray Wyatt. There's just so much talent there. That I would that it has. It's kind of uncharted waters. Like I've never half the roster there I've never even been in the ring with. So
it's it's a blank canvas because it's totally fresh. Like I said, there's a lot of guys there that you haven't even touched, like haven't even locked up with or shared any space with at any point in time. So that's a good point.
And it's so rare right now that you can have like these quote unquote dream matches, and I think it's what Joe is happening with Joe right now, because he was in TNA, because you were in TNA for so long, and then through NXT, and there's a lot of people that are the WWE fan base that are being introduced to Samoa Joe, but getting brought up in his history by the reactions he's getting by this hardcore wrestling fan base. So you come up there and there's like you said, there's a whole platter of huge names that you've never worked, and that's what's great about guys that have come through TNA and are just have missed being able to work a John Cena or whatever throughout the years. So there's so many, man, it's got to be exciting. Yeah. I'm excited for you.
There's a ton of, I mean, Randy Orton, another guy that I'm a huge fan of Randy. I love his style, I love his work. I think him and you guys would matches together.
Yeah, you guys would really click in there for sure.
Yeah. So there's a plethora of guys that uncharted waters, like you said, a fresh canvas that we could, storyline wise, work wise. I mean, there's years of work there. I truly believe there for me. So, I'm excited for that opportunity if it comes about.
Well, we don't want to keep you any longer, man. That seems like enough to get people super excited going forward. Just throwing those names out there with you. That seems like a good place to leave off. What do you think, Birdman?
I think so too. And Bobby, just back up a little bit too. You said before that you didn't get into this for money. If that's the case, you can throw a few of those paychecks my way. I don't mind.
I think you still owe me money.
Do I? For what?
Guaranteed he does, because he just
gas money or something. I don't know.
Guaranteed he does. He always just forgets.
Didn't we drive to North Bay? Didn't we drive to North Bay together?
We did. Oh, that was Remember that? That was funny. Remember we were like the main event of this of the show for Rob Fuego for his for their BSE, I think it was called. Is that what it was?
Blood,
E&C?
sweat, and ears. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we were driving up there like this 8-hour drive, and we came up with this scheme. I was supposed to pick Bobby up in front of their gym, and we were going to drive together. And I just picked Bobby up and got a text from Rob, who was already up there the day before, and he's the guy putting on the show. And they had like a sold out crowd. It was a really big crowd up there and all this sort of thing. So they were like super like paranoid that everybody was going to get there on time. We were the advertised main event. So he goes, "Did you get Bobby all right?" And I was like, "No, he wasn't there." He's like, "What do you mean he wasn't there?" I said, "He wasn't there, and I got an 8-hour drive, so I just kept going." And then he's like, "What? Why would you do that?" I was like, "Dude, I'm not going to be late." So Bobby's sitting right beside me. So then Bobby gets on the phone. He's like, "Hey, I'm standing here. You know what time Jay's going to be picking me up?" And we'd somehow worked it where, and then we kept like playing him back and forth, and he was calling between both of us and all this sort of thing. And you said, "Well, I'm just going to rent a car and I'll drive up and you can pay me back the money." And he's like, "Yeah, do that." Yeah. Now it's like 3 hours into the drive and he's already freaking out. And then, and then you called him back again or texted him and said, "Hey, this car only has like miles. It doesn't have free unlimited miles. So it's like an 8-hour drive. So don't worry about it. I got the car. I'll just give you the bill when I get here." So he's freaking out about that. And then I think we stopped to eat at Swiss Chalet. And it's like, "Hey, just stop and to get a quick bite to eat." And he's like, "Oh, don't be too long." I said, "Don't worry, we won't." So we eat, and then we go to leave, and he's like, "Are you back on the road?" I was like, "Oh, no." I said I had to pull over to the side and let my food settle. I have an upset stomach. Just like dumb things like that. And then, of course, we show up at the arena together, and he's like pulled his hair out, and he's like freaking out, but we just giggling the whole time.
By the way, you started that story with saying, we were the main event and it was sold out. I got to throw that out there.
Of course it was.
That's how that story started.
And you know what? I thank Bobby for the house. So there you go.
Yeah, there you go. You never hear that anymore. Like you never hear that anymore. Like in NXT, like I don't think they would get it. Like we're the main event, and it was a sold out house. They were packed to the rafters. That's
hanging from the rafters.
But it's just like that's so old school.
Yeah,
so good. So good. Yeah.
So old school. But
thanks for doing the show, Bobby.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah. Continued success, and we'll talk soon.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Bobby.
See you, buddy. Bobby.
Stay under the DeMauriers. Stay under the DeMauriers.
See you, Bobby.
See ya. I like the DeMaurier reference.
Yeah, that's super
from
Canadian.
Bobby. Very Canadian. Players Light, DeMaurier, Belvedere. Only a Canadian is going to understand those cigarette references.
And you know what's funny? And speaking of that, just reminded me, because I'm here in Regina, Saskatchewan, shooting a movie. I just want to remind people that.
Thank you.
I was walking on the street the other day, and this lady goes to me, and she goes, "Hey, you don't have an extra smoke, do you?" And I just started laughing. I was like, "That's so Canadian." I was like, "No, ma'am, I'm sorry, I don't." And I kept walking, but it was so funny.
And then you just got to pull it out from behind your ear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Here, Hey, you need a light?
Yeah, calling it a dart is really Canadian, too. You got an extra dart?
When you said you were walking down the street, I wanted to sing shooting people that I meet. Full of time and gun. Here come your deputy. Try fucking get me. Gotta fucking get up and run. They got the sirens loose. I run right out of juice. You're gonna put me in a cell if I can't go to heaven. Let me go to hell. Crazy. Stone cold crazy. No. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. That was the Metallica version, though.
I was trying to go back into my Chop Suey.
Makeup.
Yeah. So good for Bobby, though. It's good to talk to him. Good to catch up. It's been a while.
Yeah,
good to see him doing so well. He's a super talented guy. So smooth in the ring, just like a natural. You can tell. I could, from even in the time in TNA, and then before that, and now. You just see how good he is and how solid he is, and he's deserving of his of a spot being the NXT champion. So good for him.
Yep, and also some good shout outs to Sean Morley, Val Venus, Shane, Sewell. It was always eerie to me when I'd see Bobby work how he moved so mechanically like Val in the ring.
Yeah,
I mean, if they were a tag team, dude, it would have been. I mean,
been like the same guy.
So yeah, it's eerie if you go and you watch them and see just footwork wise. And I know Val had a part in training him and everything, but just to see how it's uncanny at times. But
it would have been unlike us when it was glaringly obvious that I was so much better than you.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And by that I mean I always took the heat and you always took the shine in the comeback. So
What are you talking about, brother? We were heels.
Yeah. Well, I mean when we were baby faces.
Which was for like what, 2 weeks?
Yeah,
Boo-hoo. You
it was a
took
long 2 weeks.
2 weeks worth of heat. You know what that means? That just means I got pinned.
No, you didn't. I think we tagged back in.
You do that. Blow the comeback. I don't want to do the job. Tag back in, and you get beat.
Yeah. I think that's how it went.
Oh yeah.
Oh Lord.
Oh yes.
Oh yes.
So we had a fun little show this week there, Birdman.
Yeah, we covered some ground. We covered
lots of miles and clicks, and I don't mean Nash and Hall and X-Pac and Triple H and Shawn. Woo, yeah. I mean, like kilometers.
like kilometers? Yeah.
Well, that's what we call them up there. You smoke your dart and you get some clicks on the road there, eh?
Get your dart and jump in the Ford and bang her down and take her for a rip, eh, bud?
Oh yeah, I mean, just go for a rip, are you, bud?
Yeah. It's another Canadian one. Just take it for a rip, huh? If you talk about taking on a motorcycle or a snowmobile or something, it was when take it for a rip.
Oh, just gonna take her for a rip?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we're educating people here on Canadian isms. So.
Well, and since we call our fan base the Hosers, it seems like you who are not from Canada should be brought up to speed. Yep. And Hosers, we never even talked about the fact that Hosers is a reference to Bob and Doug McKenzie from SCTV. Yep. If you don't know SCTV,
Strange
I'm
Brew.
Sorry. You just need to look it up.
Maybe Strange Brew might be on Netflix. So if you want to check out Strange Brew, that's Bob and Doug McKenzie.
Yep, and if you want to go further into the lexicon or the cornucopia, actually there's not a lot of Canadian-type movies like this, but Fubar is another one that is really worth watching, along with Trailer Park Boys. Anyway.
Anyways, we should jump off. We should get out of here. We should skedaddle.
You're just saying that, skedaddle, really?
Yeah.
You're just saying you want to skedaddle because you're hungry, because I heard your stomach growling.
Yes, I haven't eaten yet today. I'm hungry. I gotta go. I'm starting to get grumpy.
You're in ketosis.
You and Mega Matt, keep your phones on. I have to send you a text. I just came up with a great idea. All right.
No,
Till
you
next
didn't.
week.
It's not going to be better than mine.
Here we go.